So this is again the Kunjed Gyalpo, translated by Jim Valby. And we're continuing in chapter 7, which is titled The Categories of Vehicles. So I guess we'll be further analyzing the 9 yanas. In the previous chapter, we talked about how all the vehicles associated with cause and effect can't really approach awareness because it's just kind of irrelevant. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just that there is no axis, no direction pointing at awareness that's distinct from all the other directions. They're all pointing at awareness. Either that's recognized or it's not. From the Dzogchen view, right? All the yanas have their own view, and this text and this group presents the Dzogchen one. So let's read. It says, then the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, bodhicitta, spoke about the different phenomena created by the state. The all-creating monarch says, hey, Mahasattva, presence is the nature of the authentic state. Although, in the total bliss of the non-dual, authentic state, presence manifests all aspects. No aspects have ever really existed. Well, this is a practical instruction for right now. Do you know what presence means? When I say presence, what is it referring to? Whatever phenomenon is here, and for starters, you can see it in the phenomena. Whatever's arising arises with this even knowingness. It's known. There's awareness of it. If you look at what that's made out of, that's called presence. And presence is like space. It's like cognizance pervading space. Whatever space you imagine in front of you, behind you, above you, whatever is there, you know it. You are there without having to travel. Your knowingness is already there. And it's called knowingness, but that ness is doing a lot of work. It means what the knowing is made out of. It's made out of presence. Without this presence, nothing would exist. There would be no appearance. When something appears, it doesn't reduce presence. It doesn't take some part of it. When it vanishes, no part of presence is lost. Just like space. If you sway your head through space or something, you're not offsetting anything. Space isn't bothered. You haven't really changed space at all. So too with presence. For something to be made out of presence and to not gain or lose presence means that it cannot be something exterior to presence. It must be presence itself. So whatever phenomena arise are presence. And so this is said to be the nature, the Sambhogakaya aspect. Makes sense, right? If not always ding in. So presence primordially abides like ineffable space. Presence is beyond objects and cannot be categorized as one. Why can't it be categorized as one? We have the fourth samaya of oneness. Here it says not one. Well, basically because that would be an analysis. That would be a one that differs from a multiplicity, right? For there to be a one, it would have to stand in contrast to something else. That's just a concept. It's an idea. So You don't even want to hold onto one. Whatever phenomena are arising, this whole multiplicity of appearances, they are presence. So it's both the multiplicity and the oneness. If that's the case, well, you don't need to hold a concept about it. So if you let that be, then it just is what it is. So you don't want to force any view. No forced view of multiplicity, no forced view of oneness, no forced view of neither or both. Regardless of what view you have, it's already going on its own way. No effort needs to be expended on presence's behalf to help it along or something. So although nothing can be categorized or pointed out, it says here, as pure perfect presence, categories of phenomena created by presence arise. What is created by presence? The animate and inanimate universe, Buddhas, and sentient beings are created by the essence of presence through its nature. And created by the Dharmakaya by means of its nature, Sambhogakaya, the cognizance within the space. So after being created, these phenomena are visibly displayed with the 5 great elements. The appearances of the 6 lokas, which again are like from the hell realms to the humans to the gods, and the 2 form kayas that benefit those beings, and the form, or the Sambhogakaya and the Nirmanakaya. Or maybe this is the Rupakaya too. That would make more sense. So when it says created here, it says presence is creating phenomena. It's not a precise word. You understand it as meaning ineffably created. It's an empty appearance. It arises as a magical display, but there's no substance behind it. You can't pin any part of it down. You can't lick it. So what good is it? Yeah, dong energy, exactly. But yeah, whatever's arising, it's not arising substantially. And so when it says here that you can't find presence, you can't pin down any characteristics of presence, well, that's not a special non-characteristic of presence either. It's the same of all phenomena. All phenomena inherit that from presence. If you think that something is red, for example, maybe there's a red apple. Well, the apple seems to have the characteristic red. That red is another phenomenon. It's another impression. It arises as a sense impression. And so that red, what characteristic does that have? Ultimately, can't be pinned down. And so when the layer of analysis softens up a little bit, because all these characteristics are like sticky beliefs that we're putting on things. You see something, you believe it to be that case, and you make an abstraction about it. And then you see things in terms of that abstraction. This is what the conceptual mind does. So when you're constrained by that abstraction, it's hard to get out of it. The abstraction makes sense. You made it. But it's like a little prison. When you get out of that by resting in awareness, well, then it falls apart a little bit. You no longer have this sticky abstraction that you use as like a lens to view the world. When that's the case, then things just are what they are. You can experience them fresh every time. You can even have concepts about things. It's just not something that it's not gluey. It doesn't stick to you. So then it's fine if a concept arises. If you look at a mountain and see a mountain, the concept mountain comes up and goes away. And then you're left with what a mountain is in the sense impression, instead of just an abstraction mountain. It's a really beautiful world to see it. Yeah, so all these are categories that manifest as the nature of presence. So everything. Thus he spoke. Well, then Dorje Lekpa requested, "Hey, all creating monarch, Emaho, Samantabhadra, Emaho. You are pure perfect presence, Emaho, omniscient one. In the beginning, when pure perfect presence arose, we who did not understand self and phenomena assembled as your retinue. Omniscient one, when I did not know how to ask the question, you spoke. You proclaimed the topic that phenomena are unified in the one pure perfect presence. Now please explain what categories explain that there are two in the one." Thus he requested. Does that question make sense? Well, two refers to multiplicity, and one refers to equality. So he's asking, how are there phenomena, myriad display, within one presence? It's a good question. Thus he requested. Then the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, spoke. "Hey, I am primordially self-perfected. I am the self-perfected source of all Buddhas." Now, primordially, of course, means from beginningless time. That's how Richard Barron often translates it, right? And what it means is like self-originated. It doesn't have a beginning. It never arose. There's no cause. There is no alternative to awareness. There's no non-awareness. So because of this, it's said to be primordial, from beginningless time. No before, no after, no now. And so the all-creating monarch says, "I am the nature of Tuji energies. At the time when beings enjoy whatever teaching, in order to provide help that pleases whichever disciples, I will explain the meaning of my creations. You, Dorje Lekpa, should listen well. Those who enjoy the one are taught the nature of pure perfect presence that unites all phenomena in the one wisdom." Well, wisdom here is the translator. Maybe in the one nature, the one awareness, one mind. They are taught the all-creating nature of presence. So if you can accept the evenness of phenomena, notice that presence, then you're taught the presence. Oh, the screen went black. The screen is back. Thank you, Ishi. Those who enjoy many characteristics are endlessly taught with various words about the creations of the all-creating monarch. In particular, they are taught about my essence. So if you enjoy multiplicity, then we talk a lot about phenomena. And being taught about the essence means more Dharmakaya. And Dawai is saying one means emptiness, wisdom. I like Dharmakaya, maybe. Oh, the wisdom of Dharmadhatu. Well, thank you. Dawai says, usually the word wisdom equates to emptiness. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. So he says, those who enjoy many characteristics. One refers to my state, the source. Two refers to the creations that are manifested by me. Oh, good, we got it right. Sometimes I get ahead of myself and take guesses, and then they always explain it right after. That's good. The phenomena created by me can be numbered. Isn't that interesting? Numbers include 1, 2, and so forth. There are other texts that number. She has a favorite one. Here we stopped at and so forth, which is probably the best. The last number cannot be communicated. That which cannot be communicated is the source. The incommunicable source is said to be one. The teachings created by the one all-creating pure perfect presence are of two types, cause-oriented and goal-oriented. The teachings of these two types of vehicles are distinguished as definitive or provisional based on the way in which the two truths, ultimate and relative, are understood. These vehicles explain their teachings using examples, meanings, signs, and logic. Yeah, hopefully that's clear. So remember, in Dzogchen, as was previously stated in the Kunjed Gyalpo, we don't have the two truths here. Relative truth would be appearance, everyday normal, how people see the world typically. The emptiness of that. Ultimate would, of course, be the source. So why don't we have two? At least in Dzogchen. Well, because how are you going to make two from one? There will be an analysis about it. There will be a determination. Is this definitive? Is this provisional? In these empty appearances, how much is empty? How much are appearances? It's a thing that people can think about and give many discussions about. But ultimately, you just let it be. We don't pull apart the emptiness from the appearances or the appearances from the emptiness. That would be like trying to pull apart the kayas. We can talk about them as if they're separate, but you know that they're not. There's no boundary between them. You can't really have presence without space or space without presence. So they're always united. And in Dzogchen, it's just much simpler. It's said to be a higher teaching, but honestly, as a practitioner, it's just easier. There's less analysis required. You don't have to develop understandings about things. You don't have to look for signs or analyze anything. So the all-creating monarch continues. The cause is the 5 great elements, which remember in the Kunjed Gyalpo, they specify that the elements are in the Sambhogakaya. The Sambhogakaya lucidity, which is like in a dream, it's that which paints the dream. And then the elements are that, like the energy with which it's painting, but not exactly that which is painted. So it says the effect then in the Nirmanakaya, right, is the sentient beings of the three realms. Then the cause is understood to be the sentient beings of the three realms, and the effect is assigned the name Buddhas. Followers explain cause and effect with examples and meanings. And having painted sentient beings, Buddhas come to save them. This teaching, which understands the cause to be sentient beings of the three realms, who are predicted to become Buddhas as the effect, is a provisional lung, or a teaching. Also, I guess not that, more that they would become Buddhas in the future, implying that they are not already Buddhas. Even in the Mahayana, which does have a sudden path, they still talk about Buddha nature as kind of latent. It's like a characteristic that needs to be developed, and it can spring out forth suddenly, but it still needs to spring out. So here, it's not like that. That would be trying to polish perfection. So it continues, followers distinguish two aspects, cause and effect. They understand the cause to be the five great elements, which produce all created phenomena. But actually, phenomena are the direct manifestations of presence itself. Through ignorance, which does not understand that all is just thatness, followers necessarily investigate the phenomena of the six sense objects with their mistaken concepts of subject and object. The six disintegrating lokas and the six types of dependent beings are said to be the world. Yeah, we can go on. So because of the six attachments to the six sense objects, there are the terrible sufferings of the six cravings. These are misery upon misery. Then, regarding misery and beyond misery, it is said that when there are no concepts of the phenomena of the six sense objects, there is no birth in the places of the six lokas of birth. Because the six sufferings are thus transcended, this condition is named beyond misery, or beyond suffering. So you know about this, right? You've heard this before. From the pure perfect presence of the authentic source, the five great elements naturally manifest without effort. Even though pure perfect presence, as the source of all, has a non-referential nature, because there is grasping at separate specific characteristics, characteristics upon characteristics arise. Now, why is there this seeming multiplicity, or characteristics that are really believed in? And it says here, because there is grasping. That's what Lynn said. Or well, maybe that was Muslim. Yeah, I think that was, I don't remember. Someone said it, quoting Dawai. But here it is, because there is grasping. Then all these characteristics arise. So the five great elements that naturally arise are the source which creates all phenomena. Not understanding that sentient beings created by this source are self-originated, just like presence. Followers consider that practice on a path is a necessary cause. Yet to free them, to free the things that are presence. They desire, it says, that the effect manifest from this cause. Thus, the name cause-oriented is assigned. These cause-oriented vehicles are vehicles that try to attain an effect. Among these, there are types that renounce, that block, and that purify. The term goal-oriented is used to describe the vehicles that emphasize the goal, which manifests from the cause or source. Because the essence of this source is an essence beyond arising and ceasing, it is named Bhadra. There are two outer vehicles that strive to achieve this Vajra essence. Based upon acceptance and rejection, followers desire to realize the wisdom of body, voice, and mind in a way that is something like pursuing the reflection of the moon in water. Inner Tantra is beyond acceptance and rejection. Mahayoga uses 3 stages of contemplation, and Anuyoga uses the essence mantra to view and meditate one state as space and wisdom. Because the non-action of Ati Yoga, which does not depend upon anything, is the source of everything, presence is beyond action and transcends sacred activities. For those who reject the bliss of non-action, Ati Yoga establishes long teachings of bliss beyond struggle. When followers of these vehicles, who struggle for 3 aeons, 7 lifetimes, 6 months, 1 year, or 16 months, are taught this nature beyond action, they will come to abide in the bliss of self-perfection beyond struggle. In this dimension, there does not exist anything that is not perfect, because there is one perfect, two perfect, and all perfect. Activities are bliss as the perfections. One perfect means that all is perfect in pure perfect presence. Two perfect means that all creations of presence are perfect. And all perfect means that all perfections are perfect. And the perfections earlier were explained to be the teacher, the teaching, and those receiving the teaching or listening or the retinue. So everything. Through this perfect Lung teaching about the One, beings can abide in this knowledge of Buddha. Through this meaning of total perfection, everything functions as the perfections. Whoever abides in this effortless state, even with the body of a god or human, is Buddha in the real condition of knowledge. When such a person performs benefit for sentient beings, they come to bliss without engaging in struggle and achievement. Thus he spoke. From the all-creating monarch, pure perfect presence, this concludes the 7th chapter about the summary of categories. Thank you everyone for listening. Any comments or questions? Yeah, it's a very clear text. Should I be performing any analysis? No. Should I be doing any efforts? No. Is there a goal to achieve? No. Dawai says that summary was shorter than my summaries of the 9 yanas. Yeah, kind of dismissive, but it's dismissing all of cause and effect in one swift stroke.
I think it's saying, you know, there are those followers that those teachings pertain to, and we can cherish them just the same. For example, the monastic tradition is typically knee-deep in cause and effect, but I've always had a high reverence for anybody who takes up the robes because, you know, the baseline, you're renouncing, you're coming into your own freedom, at least looking for it. That deserves a lot of respect, in my opinion. And so they have all these, basically formulated because there are all types of people, and they needed to share the view with these people, and it just wasn't sinking in. We've seen how that happens, or we try to share the view with people and it just won't sink in. But those people still want freedom. And so you tell them to do a million mantras.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's not that the other yanas are bad. It's a curriculum, at least as presented in the Nyingma tradition, right?
Yeah, and it can correlate with other traditions. For example, the Kagyu, they have the 5 stages of Naropa, I think is the 5 yogas or something like that. And that can plug right into the 9 yanas. And all that Lamrim stuff that they do in the Gelugpa tradition can plug into the Shedra aspect of Nyingma. So Nyingma is the old school. It pretty much has, I mean, I've yet to find anything in Buddhism in general, aside from maybe koans or something very special that isn't in the 9 yanas. They managed to preserve all that. But this dichotomy that they're talking about goes back further than the 9 yana classification of the Nyingmapas, which was probably initiated around 7th to 8th century. This goes into when the Mahasutras, there were these even Mahasuttas in the Pali Canon, and those were considered definitive truth because they're talking about emptiness. They're Mengagde, essentially. They're pith instructions. And so the Dalai Lama has this, and you, Dorje Lekpa and others may have seen this before, where they talk about the distinction between relative and absolute truth. And so the Prajaparamita Sutras, for example, would be considered absolute truth. So it's not like the 9th yana has it all. This can be seen in different classifications, where Dzogchen is plugged into ancient yogic traditions, especially with the Heart Sutra and all the emptiness, Madhyamaka stuff. Dzogchen is there, you know. Okay.
Yeah, even in the Mahayana, the Diamond Sutra is essentially a third turning of the wheel text, although it's not really taught like that, but that's what it's saying.
Yeah, and a lot of Zen sutras, um, they're definitely in that category of definitive truth. And I know we're talking about this definitive versus conventional truth, but that can be seen in different ways. For example, if you can classify the scriptures into definitive and relative and absolute, you can, and that's just fine. But as far as the view is concerned, there's no need to make that distinction, in my opinion. Like Dorje Lekpa was saying, because we want to integrate reality as ultimate reality. We don't want this to be conventional and ultimate reality be somewhere else. We've been doing that long enough.
Yeah, thank you, Dawai. Yeah, Seth, I have a background in Zen. My impression is that a lot of the texts, if you read the texts from the actual masters, then they really are saying basically the same thing as Dzogchen, oftentimes using almost exactly the same language. It's just not stressed in the tradition, and it's not what practitioners, at least in the West, experience when they go to practice Zen. What they experience practically is more of a prolonged attempt at pointing out, which is good, but it's like a Rushan. But after you get that pointing out, then you can go back and read the text, and they're really beautiful. then you can't share it with anyone in Zen. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff.
Ah, that's why they were hitting me with the stick.
Yeah, traditionally they would hit the master with the stick or something like that and then leave. Start their own temple. Yeshi, I agree. You're saying Dzogchen illuminates Zen, but not the reverse. Dzogchen is almost all after pointing out, because there's not a lot of conceptual information to give you prior to pointing out, right? The other yanas already covered that. So Zen also doesn't have a lot of conceptual stuff to say prior to pointing out, but then they don't have anything to say after. So they wind up just not saying anything. Oh, Lynn, was that a question? I'm sorry if I missed it. I was wondering what the general Dzogchen view has to say about the whole ranting Shentong thing. I don't know what that is.
Not me.
Rangtong and Shintong. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
I was saying it's not me, it's an L, a new person.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was Leo. I'm just blind. Leo was saying that.
Yeah, so those are ancient philosophical arguments. They, as far as I'm concerned, they don't really apply. I mean, Rangtong could fit quite fine into Dzogchen. These are two different philosophical positions, but basically, yeah, positions of emptiness. I mean, why would no philosophical positions would hold up in Dzogchen? And to me, it seems more like a Gelugpa Shedra type of thing. It's great to understand the different positions, I suppose, if you really want to go into that. And these are some big books, lots of arguments about emptiness. But yeah, we basically, you could say Prasangika Madhyamaka, with no distinction between Rangtung and Shintung, actually, is what I would say, if you want to get into that, Leo. So definitely Prasangika Madhyamaka. Even in Madhyamaka, no philosophy. Yeah, except people make philosophical, or have made, and probably still do, have made philosophical positions out of Madhyamaka somehow. Go figure. So, yeah, I'm not sure if that helps, but that's what I got.
Anything else in anyone's mind? All right. Well, may you be well. Have some rest. Let's dedicate. So any merit we may have gathered here today, there are sentient beings in this presence who are suffering. We can give all the merit to them in a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone.